let's talk about what this actually looks like in the moment. When someone is shutting down or getting defensive after you've delivered feedback or a suggestion, because let's be real, this is the part where it's easy for us to freeze or to overreact or abandon ship altogether. But this is also where the growth can happen for both of you. Here's how I want you to think about it. 4 steps: reflect, regulate, reset, revisit. We're going to call that your coaching loop when defensiveness shows up. So, step 1 is reflect. Name what you notice gently. Start by naming what you're picking up on, but you're going to do it with care, right? This isn't about catching someone in the act or calling them out. It's about calling them in. You might say, "Hey, I noticed something seemed to just shift in our conversation right now. Can we just pause and talk about it for a second? Did you hear it's simple? It's calm. It's curious. You're showing them, I see you. I care. I am not here to bulldoze you." And the key here is making space for them to respond, which is what keeps the conversation going instead of letting the defensiveness shut it down. Okay, step 2, regulate. Help bring the heat down. Reflective listening, it's going to be your best friend here. So try something like, "It sounds like that feedback felt frustrating. Just help me understand what part of that didn't land well." Right? You're inviting them to stay in the conversation with you and not retreat from it. And you remind them gently, this is not about punishment. It's not about you're in trouble. It's I'm here because I care about your growth. You want to regulate the conversation so it stays productive and not confrontational. Because when they feel understood, they're way more likely to open up and listen. And this is also the moment where you can be open to feedback yourself. I mean, maybe the way you said it didn't sit well. So you are reflective listening, you're acting as a mirror and receiving what you hear, all while remaining calm. Okay, step 3, reset the tone to rebuild trust. So once things settle, now you're going to speak life into them, right? You're going to reestablish this relationship, this trust. You're going to say something like, "Hey, I believe in you. I'm not bringing this up to criticize you. I'm bringing it up because I know you care. I care too." And that posture, it's everything. You're helping them feel safe enough to lean in instead of shut down. And when they trust that your intentions are rooted in care, they're much more likely to hear you out. Okay, and finally, step 4 is to revisit. This is the important part. It's all important, but this is important. Once the emotional temperature drops, it's time to return to the point of the conversation, right? Don't avoid it. Circle back. You can do this with kindness. You can do this with clarity. You might say, "Okay, so back to where we started. Can we revisit that feedback now that we're both in a better space?" So you let them know, look, we're not going to sweep this under the rug just because it got uncomfortable. And you inside, right, internally, you're standing your ground by thinking, I brought this up because it really matters for their growth, for my team, right? You're standing your ground. By revisiting the feedback in this kind of calm space, you remind them that the goal is progress. It's not perfection. And you're in it together. So again, your coaching loop is this: reflect on what you're sensing, regulate the moment with calm and connection. Then you're going to reset the tone with a bunch of encouragement. And then you're going to revisit the core issue, right? You're going to get back to why you brought it up in the first place. And this coaching loop is just another example, friend, of why I believe that the best leaders, the best ones, they're not industry experts. They're not TED Talk speakers or HR specialists. No, they're just coaches. They're people who see themselves as coaches. And maybe as you hear this, you don't see yourself as a coach who's confident to know how to coach your team in any situation. And I get that. I led a nonprofit team for 10 years before I cracked the code on this one. But friend, you don't have to wait any longer because I created a free on-demand workshop that walks you through how to empower your team through coaching. And if this has been helpful at all so far, this episode, then you're going to love this free training. So go to heycarolist.com/workshop or grab that link in the show notes. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. Handling defensiveness in the moment is one thing. But real transformation happens when we create a culture where this isn't scary, it's just normal. So, here are a few long term strategies that will help you build that kind of environment. Okay, so first, build a feedback culture. And here is the thing, you don't have to draft some massive professional feedback system. You don't. Just make feedback a regular thing, not a surprise attack. Just keep it clear, keep it kind, keep it often. Do not wait until your next one on one. And please, 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 don't wait until a formal review. That is the worst. Just keep feedback as regular as saying good morning, right? Just a part of your day. And this includes all the positive feedback, by the way, also. Okay, second, challenge yourself to grow as a coach. Now, there are a lot of ways you can do this. And no, it doesn't involve going and getting a professional coach certification. You start by remembering to just ask a question instead of giving the answer. That's it. Just ask a question instead of giving an answer. Seek to understand your people more and more in each conversation with a curiosity that doesn't make any assumptions. If you've been listening to my podcast at all, you know I love this visual of a sphere in front of us. You can never see all the sides of the sphere at once. You can only see yours. So we go into every conversation just wondering with genuine curiosity, what does their side of the sphere look like? And we ask questions to find out. And we can also use tools like the Working Genius model to understand your team better. And if you don't know about Working Genius, you got to go back and check out my podcast episode. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes. But don't wait, my friend, because your people, they won't just magically change and grow without the guidance of an intentional coach. And that can be you. Okay, the third is encourage reflection. After a tough conversation, maybe like one of these, you can try asking, what did you take away from that? So you can let them own their growth. Don't do all the talking yourself. You can also circle back the next day and just ask, hey, how are you feeling after our chat yesterday? And just listen, just thank them for sharing. And finally, model it yourself. If you want a culture of openness, you got to show them what it looks like. You have to share a story, a time when you got tough feedback, how it helped you grow, and let them see that feedback is not a threat. It is a gift. So solicit feedback from your team as much as you can. And if they don't give you any, keep asking, because this takes time to get comfortable giving your boss feedback, right? Like that's not something that they're going to want to do naturally, but they will start to do it and keep doing it if you model what it looks like to receive it with gratitude and keep asking for it. And the overall big idea here, normalize growth. Just make it a part of how your team operates, not just something that happens when something goes wrong. Okay, you ready to land the plane? Let's do it. Next time that wall of defensiveness goes up with that person you're thinking about, and you feel that urge to either shut down or push harder or tell them they're being defensive, you're going to take a breath and come back to this. Reflect, regulate, reset, revisit. You're not trying to fix, you're coaching. And coaching means showing up with care, with curiosity, and just with a mindset that says, hey, I see you. I'm with you. And we can work through this. And friend, this is not always clean and it's not always easy. But I promise it is so worth it. Because when you learn to stay steady in those moments, you actually build more trust. You move things forward instead of getting stuck. And best of all, you become the kind of leader people want to work for. And you're more than capable of this. All right? Okay, that's it for today. Friend, you've got what you need. You've got what it takes. And hey, if you haven't watched that free training, my workshop, go check it out. It's packed with all the practical tips to help you lead and coach with confidence and with connection, the things I'm so passionate about for you. And if this episode made you think of another leader who could use it, help a friend out and pass this episode along right after you finish it. Okay, friend, until next time, you know it. I'm cheering you on. Bye.